Joel Embiid, Kawhi Leonard, Ja Morant, Kevin Durant. You know what all these players have in common? They are injured. Why are injuries so high in the NBA? And it's not just them. There are so many more injuries across the board. And statistically, it has been shown that injuries are higher this season. Shout out to Yahoo Sports, because this is where I got all this information from. As you can see in this chart, injuries are already up more than it was last season at the same point. But wait, if that chart is a little bit confusing to you, here it is in plain numbers. According to the stats, games lost due to injury in the first 3 weeks of the season are already up to 686 games compared to 507 last season. So that means there's a 35% increase in injuries from last season. In addition, in recent seasons, stars, they said, played about 85 to 90% of their games in the first month of the season, which is a majority of the players. But it says that this season, player participation has dropped to below 80%, which, yes, is technically still majority, but you have to think about it. There's not a ton of stars in the NBA, because a star is defined as, at least they talk about in this article, a player who has been an all-star in the last 3 seasons, because they're talking about, you know, the new rule that they put in that you need to play 65 games. As you can see, it says right now there are 49 star players. So there may be players that you consider a star or an up-and-coming star, but by technicality standards, there are technically 49 stars in the NBA. So through the first 10 games, star players, according to this, article and statistics, they have missed 83 games, which is up from last season with a total of 67. Apparently, LeBron James said that he wants to play 82 games this season. We'll see if that happens, but 20 of the 49 stars have already missed one of the games at least. So that means they can't do the 82-game season. Injuries are not only bad for the players, of course, because we want them to be healthy, and it's bad for the team because it makes it harder to win, but it is also bad for the NBA as a whole. Again, first and foremost, we want the players to be healthy because we want to watch them play, and nobody wants to see somebody hurt. But the NBA is a business at the end of the day, and their numbers are being, or their, finances potentially are going to be impacted by all these injuries. We're talking about the Mavs-Clippers game. I believe that's what they were talking about here. And, Steve Ballmer was promoting this new arena, which still looks awesome. I still want to go see it. But apparently only 1.9 million people tuned in to the game, which is down 36% from another game with the same time slot last season. So this is a league-wide problem because it affects everybody, even affects the fans. Like, I know I didn't even mention the fans yet, but it affects the fans as well because they don't get to see their favorite players play. People who are paying money to go to the games, and this is a whole nother argument that people have been having for the last couple of years about load management and stuff, they don't get to see their favorite player play, yet they paid all that money to go to the game. But these are not load management injuries that we're talking about here, so it's not necessarily relevant to this conversation or this video, but I'm just saying in general, that is a whole nother category of missing games that affects people. I made a video a few years ago talking about, do the shoes impact the amount of injuries that players have? If you didn't watch that video, make sure you go watch it. But basically, the statistical analysis said that low top shoes, because I was comparing low tops to high tops, don't have much of a statistical difference on injuries in the NBA. But that was a while ago, so maybe it's different now, but apparently it's not the shoes. Being that this is a three-point shooting league, you do have to cover a lot more ground than maybe in some, the past decade and stuff like that. Like, teams were not shooting as many threes, so you do have to, cover more spacing than you did before. I don't know if there's actual stats to back that up, and I don't know if this is actually true, but maybe they are actually technically running more miles or covering more square footage than players 20 years ago. So maybe that's impacting the injuries as well, because overuse and stuff like that tends to lead to injuries. But I don't know if that's statistically true, so don't quote me on that. At the end of the day, though, this is a problem for everybody involved, and the NBA has to figure out a way to fix this because it seems to be trending in a bad direction, not a positive one.